welcome to the first week of DEMIGODATHON. I will be doing weekly reading vlogs every single week for 5 weeks while I reread the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series by Rick Riordan. So today is December 29th. That means sometime today I will be starting The Lightning Thief. You'd think that I would have immediately woken up and started reading, but I am knee-deep in editing a video right now. I've been editing for over 24 hours now and I want to die. No, but it's actually coming out really well. I actually really like this video, and that's something that doesn't happen that often, like me being really proud of a video. So yeah, anyways, that's off topic. The Lightning Thief. I will be reading this week. It is not that big of a book, even though it's actually one of the longest of the Percy Jackson books. It's about 370 something pages, but like the font is humongous. It's not gonna take me the entire week to read this. I'm probably gonna read it in one sitting at some point. Yeah, so throughout this week, I will be updating on my thoughts while reading The Lightning Thief. I don't really remember my ranking of the books. I know Battle of the Labyrinth is my favorite. And then I think Last Olympian is my second favorite, but after that, it's just kind of hazy. But like, let's see throughout these 5 weeks if my ranking changes. Yeah, so that's the intro. Enjoy the video. I'm gonna edit. Bye. Hello again. It is extremely late at night. It's probably like midnight or something right now, but I got really busy and I wasn't able to start The Lightning Thief earlier, but I'm about to get in bed and I'm about to start, and I have my candle going over there. I have my candle going over there. I'm just about to settle in and see how much I can read tonight. I'm just so excited. Oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. I just finished the first chapter and I'm just popping in to say that that is the most iconic first chapter in the entire world. I just want y'all to know that it's New Year's. It's like 3 a.m. and I'm about to read Percy Jackson because I've only been able to read at 3 a.m. for the past like 3 nights, and I'm severely sleep deprived and I'm kind of drunk, and I'm about to read Percy Jackson right now. Just read the part where Annabeth and Percy talk for the first time and she says you drool when you sleep. They're so iconic. Oh, I suck. It's Wednesday, January 1st. I have not made a huge amount of progress in this book, which I guess is a good thing because it's the middle of the week. I feel like it's okay that it's taking me the actual whole week. I just love how it starts out just so fucking funny. Like, it's funny from the first page, and Percy is hilarious and iconic from the first page. I will say that I kind of forgot how actually juvenile it starts out in terms of like the writing and what's going on and stuff. That is just a reminder that this is a middle grade series, but I just know that it gets so different with each book. And especially as Percy gets older, it does get more mature and more going into the YA territory. But obviously it does not change how I feel about this book or the series. So I'm gonna get more reading done today because it's just a chill day, hopefully. I've been so busy out of nowhere. Yeah, I'm at my sister's house currently and I will be here for the rest of the week, probably until Saturday. Yeah, I love it here. She actually lives closer to Galveston, which is like 45 minutes from where I live. And I just love it here. I love the vibes, I love the energy, and it was a great way to start out 2020 for me being here. I had like a bullet journaling party yesterday and it was just so fun. But yeah, I'm chilling today. I'm not gonna do shit except for read. But yeah, I'll update later. Bye. Hello, it has been a very, very interesting week. It is the end of week 1 of DEMIGODATHON, and we are here to talk about what I thought about Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief. So as you can see, I had a lot of thoughts whilst reading this book. This is my first time tabbing Percy Jackson, and it was actually my first time annotating any book ever. I was writing in it, and I really just wanted to immortalize this experience, and I had a really good time doing that. In addition, I also took notes on my phone while reading about the more detailed things that I wanted to talk about in this little wrap-up review. So firstly, I want to touch upon something that I said at the beginning of the video, or just earlier in the week. I did say that at the start of this book, it was a little bit more juvenile than I remembered it being, and I definitely still agree, but we all know that this is a middle grade series, or at least it starts as one, and it's just so readable and accessible, and you get used to that style so fast that it literally doesn't even matter. The readability of the writing style stays the same throughout this book, and I think throughout the series, but I will confirm as the weeks go on. Nothing changes about the writing style and the readability, but the themes just get so much stronger and darker, not only throughout the series, but throughout this first book as well. And it's just so crazy how Rick Riordan made this crazy humorous middle grade with a twist on Greek mythology into something so much darker within so little time. Another thing that I wanted to talk about kind of related to that was how amazing it is the way that Rick Riordan was able to capture the hilariously realistic voice of a tactless 12-year-old boy who has been through the things that Percy Jackson has been through. Rick Riordan was in his early 40s, I believe, when he started writing Percy Jackson. And the fact that he was able to capture that voice so well and make it as timeless as it is literally unprecedented. I have read books by people in their 20s who are writing books about teenagers, and they're still not able to capture teenagers in an accurate way when they were just teenagers, probably less than 10 years ago. And obviously the secret to doing that successfully takes a special sort of talent. I think one of the things that made this series as great as it is that Rick actually had middle school students who were his students beta reading these books, and I just think that that in itself made it all the more special and all the more realistic in terms of character voice and motivation and inner dialogue, etc. Now, one of the things I'm seeing here on my notes is that I didn't remember how political this book was when it comes to things like animal abuse and especially climate change. There is so much talk about climate change in this book. It's literally one of the main themes, and I just didn't remember that being such a hardcore theme in this book from the recent times that I've read it. And I have written on here that I think I noticed it more now because of the current pressing issues that we have with climate change in 2020 in our current world and society. There's this part that I tabbed on page 188, chapter 12, where it's a scene where the trio, Annabeth, Percy, and Grover, are sleeping in a forest for the night. And Percy's telling Grover to just go to sleep, that he'll take the first watch or whatever. And Grover says, "It makes me sad, Percy." Percy says, "What does? The fact that you signed up for this stupid quest?" And Grover says, "No, this makes me sad." He pointed at all the garbage on the ground. "And the sky. You can't even see the stars. They've polluted the sky. This is a terrible time to be a satyr." Percy says, "Oh yeah, I guess you'd be an environmentalist." He glared at me. "Only a human wouldn't be. Your species is clogging up the world so fast." "Ah, never mind. It's useless to lecture a human." And I'm just like, we are getting real environmental here. And obviously this is one of the main themes with Grover's character. I mean, he's a satyr, He's very in touch with Earth and the environment and everything. And that's literally his main character motivation throughout the series. But I guess it just kind of hit me a little bit differently this time around, just with everything that's going on with the world and climate change right now. It just seems very, very relevant. And this is one of the topics that I think is timeless about the series. Like, no matter when you're reading it, things in here will always be relevant. Another thing that hit me way differently this time around was the underworld and the introduction to the underworld. I've already talked about how this book definitely starts in a lighter way than it ends up being, and it definitely leans more towards the darker things more than people remember, I feel like. But the introduction to the underworld was so chilling to read as an adult with existential crises and mortality crises. The way that they describe the fields of asphodel and how most human beings don't really lean towards good or bad, but they kind of just led a regular life. And those people who just led regular lives literally just wander around a wheat field for eternity. And that is so scary to think about. There's another part that I tabbed that's when they're in the underworld, and it's the part where Percy's looking towards Elysium and the Isles of the Blessed, and it says, "In the middle of that valley was a glittering blue lake with 3 small islands like a vacation resort in the Bahamas. The Isles of the Blessed, for people who had chosen to be reborn 3 times and 3 times achieved Elysium. Immediately, I knew that's where I wanted to go when I died." And I'm just like, we are really going here. Like, we're really going to this place metaphysically right now. It continues with, "That's what it's all about," Annabeth said, like she was reading my thoughts. "That's the place for heroes." But I thought of how few people there were in Elysium, how tiny it was compared to the fields of asphodel or even the fields of punishment. So few people did good in their lives. It was depressing. I literally have this noted and I'm like, this is so heavy. It's so wild that a book that is marketed towards literal kids is going this deep, but this is one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this book series. It literally just has such a perfect balance of light and dark, of humorous and depressing. The last thing that I want to talk about is just Percy as a character. Now, from the first time that I read this book, Percy Jackson made such an impact on me, and he very, very quickly became my favorite character of all time. But as the years have gone on, and especially in the past year or so, I have read a lot of books and I have met a lot of different characters, and every now and again I would just think like, dang, is Percy really all that I cracked him up to be? Like, is he really that amazing? And the answer is yes, he is that amazing and he is that bitch. First of all, Percy Jackson created your faves, and I need you to know that 100%. I feel like throughout the years we have memed Percy Jackson as a character a little bit too much, and it's kind of created this image of him that is just like a dumb boy warrior with 1 brain cell who is super funny and loves his girlfriend a lot. And all of these things are completely true, but Percy is so much more than that. He is, from the start of this series, a 12-year-old boy who is rough. He is ready to throw hands, quite frankly, at the drop of a hat. And that is the reason why I just love him so much, because we're so much alike. We're both Leos. We both have such a strong presence. Even when he doesn't know who he is completely, as in his godly ancestry, if you will, even when he doesn't know these things, he completely knows who he is inside. And who he is not someone you want to fuck with. He's never ever afraid of anyone or anything. And he's never ever afraid to defend himself and defend the people that he loves. This is just so different than most protagonists, especially in like a type of chosen one story, when the chosen one has a part of their identity that they don't know about yet and that they're discovering throughout the story. You don't really see this strong-willed character even before they know about their powers and their abilities. Usually they're a little bit weaker and they just as a whole haven't really come into themselves yet. They don't have a fully formed personality or anything. I'm very much generalizing. I'm sure y'all can think of some characters like that, but Percy Jackson created them. I just love how he never seems to be affected in any sort of way by anyone challenging him. Anytime someone is threatening him in any kind of way, whether they be a monster, whether they be a human, whether they be a kid or an adult, whether they be a god, a literal god, he stands up to them and looks them in the eyes and tells them what it is. Like, he's just so iconic. Anyways, I've been sitting here talking for way too long. This has been week 1 of DEMIGODATHON. It's so much fun rereading The Lightning Thief, and I'm so excited to reread the rest of the series with y'all. Let me know in the comments if you have been reading along with us, and even if you haven't, let me know your thoughts on this book if you've read it before, which I really hope you have. It's not too late to join DEMIGODATHON if you want to join us in reading Percy Jackson, either for the first time or just to reread it. We're really having a good time, and I encourage y'all to join us. So yeah, that's all I have for today. I will see you next week with my thoughts on the Sea of Monsters. Bye.